Hey friends, I'm in a clowning class. Look what I learned today. That's so funny. Bye. Hey, Justin. You're a mime now? That's awesome. It's time. Time for what? Oh, time for class. Okay. What are we learning today? Ooh, wait. We're going to do this with charades. Awesome. Okay. 4 words. First word. Clown. Clowning. Okay. Second word. Mime. Miming. Oh wait, I know this one. Clowning, miming, and pantomime class. Wow, you're really good at this. Welcome to clowning, miming, and pantomime. Today we'll explore 3 unique styles of theater: clowning, miming, and pantomime. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to recount a brief biography for each style, analyze their main elements, participate in clowning and miming exercises, and observe a pantomime performance. Okay, let's do some clowning. As the mime would say, what would a mime say, Justin? Yes, that! And we'll start with clowning. Believe it or not, clowns have been around for over 2,000 years. The oldest record of them dates back to the 5th dynasty of Egypt, around 2400 BC. Also called buffoons, jesters, fools, harlequins, or jokers, clowns have continuously evolved over the centuries. The modern version of the clown comes from a commedia dell'arte stock character that we studied in the previous course. Can you guess which one it was? If you said Zani, that's correct. Now, if you thought clowns just play around and inflate balloon animals, think again. Clowning is a serious business, and professional clowns spend decades perfecting their craft. There are many types of clowns, each with distinctive personality traits and makeup patterns, but the 3 main groups are the white-faced clown, the clown Auguste, and the tramp clown. To learn more about each clown type, check out the PDF. Now, for time purposes, we can't do a full clown training in this video. Instead, we're going to explain the 3 main principles of clowning, which are hey. Number 1, playfulness of spirit. Clowns are meant to entertain and elicit laughter, so clowns should always lead from a place of joy. Like children, clowns can find joy in the simplest of things, like an empty box or a balloon. Let's see the next principle. Number 2, assumption of brilliance. There's a misconception that clowns are stupid characters. That's incorrect. They are often the smartest characters on stage. What happens, and this is why they're so funny, is that clowns have brilliant ideas that backfire over and over. However, in the clown's mind, every idea they come up with is the smartest idea they've ever had. Let's see the 3rd principle. Number 3, everything is life or death. For a clown, there is no middle ground. Either they are ecstatic when they succeed or absolutely devastated when they fail. This is rooted in the craft of clowning as well as in history. In medieval times, court jesters were the only people allowed to make fun of the king. That gave them immense power. However, one wrong joke and the king could have them executed. So, when we mention stakes, being a clown is as high as it goes. If you're wondering how these 3 principles are applied, let's do a small clowning exercise where you can witness how these principles are put into action. That was awesome! Now, let's move on to miming. Like clowning, miming has been around for a very long time. Remember the festival of Dionysus from our Greek theater lesson? That's how far back miming goes. In Greek and Roman theater, the pantomimus, which translates to the imitator of everything, were dancers that imitated people by using masks, body movements, and rhythmic gestures. The modern version of the mime, however, is a French invention, an innovation of the Comédie de l'Arte stock character Pierrot. In the 1800s, Jean-Gaspard Devereux, a Comédie de l'Arte artist, transformed this character into a lovable, lovesick romantic who acted entire sequences without uttering a single word. This contribution started the current version of the mime. Nowadays, there are 2 styles of miming. Literal miming, in which mimes aim to tell comedic stories with a beginning, middle, and end, eliciting laughter from the audience, and abstract miming, in which mimes aim to provoke feelings and thoughts, usually of a more serious nature, from the audience. In this style, there's no plot, and the mime's gestures are more ambiguous. For example, an abstract mime can portray the closing of a door as a symbol for a life chapter closing, like this. Skilled mimes are able to combine both styles. They can present funny situations as well as provoking other feelings from the audience. So, here are the main elements of miming. Number 1, it's a silent art form. There are no words spoken in miming. Mimes tell stories through their facial expressions and body gestures. They can use some sound effects like this one or this one to create comedic moments. But there's no dialogue whatsoever. It is silent. Number 2, white face makeup. Although each mime can personalize their makeup, like adding a teardrop below one eye or adding bright red lipstick, all mimes start by covering their faces entirely with a white coat of face paint. This allows 2 things to happen. A, it highlights the mime's facial expressions so faraway audience members are able to see them better, and B, it serves as a blank canvas for the mime to transform into any character they want and bring different personas to life. Number 3, pantomiming. There are no props or sets in miming. Instead, mime artists use pantomiming, which is the art of creating the illusion of objects and places through the use of body gestures and facial expressions. For example, if the scene calls for a cup of tea, the mime does this. Or if the scene calls for binoculars, they do this. Professional mimes are amazing at pantomiming. They create all sorts of objects and locations through their physical gestures. Let's do a quick exercise in pantomiming. Amazing! Now, let's explore our final style, pantomime. Wait, weren't we just talking about pantomiming? Technically, yes. Pantomime is the technique used to create imaginary objects through physical gestures and facial expression. It is also, however, a British theatrical style that involves music, topical jokes, slapstick comedy, and a story based on fairy tales and nursery rhymes. There's a reason why they're both called the same thing, though. Let's check it out. Just like modern clowning and miming, British pantomime was strongly influenced by Commedia dell'arte. So much that some of its main characters are called Harlequin, Pantaloon, Columbine, and Pierrot. Sound familiar? The earlier pantomime shows, called dumb shows, were silent and consisted only of dancing and gestures. That's why it's called pantomime, because it used to be silent, like miming. Cool, right? You see, back at that time in England, spoken drama was only allowed in 2 sanctioned London theatres. The rest of them had to be silent plays. I know, weird law. But as soon as Parliament changed the law, silent plays quickly got replaced by the retelling of fairy tales, folk tales, fables, and classic English nursery rhymes. These became increasingly more comical and spectacular over the years. Nowadays, pantomime is a whole spectacle, filled with theatrics, musical numbers, slapstick comedy, and audience interaction. Let's explore its most important elements. Number 1, high audience participation. Pantomime is an interactive form of theater. Actors often lead a call and response with the audience, sing-alongs, or ask them to point out action on stage. It's one of the reasons why pantomime is so popular with child audiences. Number 2, slapstick comedy. Pantomime is a highly comedic art form with an emphasis on physical comedy. Another evidence of the influence that Commedia dell'arte had on this art form. Pantomime is filled with over-the-top acrobatics, exaggerated physical and facial expressions, topical jokes, and stock characters. Number 3, gender swapping and actors in animal costumes. In pantomime shows, it's common for males to play female characters, and vice versa. It is also common to see actors in animal costumes, such as horses or dogs, which increases the entertainment value for children. Number 4, music. Besides being a comedic art form, pantomime is a form of musical theater, so naturally, music plays a huge role in pantomime shows. There are musical numbers, sing-alongs, and, if the budget permits, a live band. Number 5, retelling of children's stories and fairy tales. Fairy tales and children's stories have long been the main source of inspiration for pantomime shows. Nursery rhymes like the Mother Goose poems, and classic children's stories like Peter Pan, Cinderella, or Jack and the Beanstalk have all become pantomime shows. It ties back to a principle that we learned about in Intro to Comedy. Know your audience. Number 6, seasonal theater. Although pantomime shows occur all year round, they are predominantly popular during the holiday season. It has become a tradition for many families in the British Isles to attend Christmas pantomime shows during the holidays. Pantomime sounds super fun, but it is meant to be experienced rather than just talked about. So make sure you stream a pantomime show online. Or even better, see if you can attend a live show. That was awesome! I can't wait for the holiday season to start so we can attend a full pantomime show. But before we do that, let's review what we learned today. Today we learned about clowning, miming, and pantomime. You are now able to recount a brief biography and analyze the main elements of each of these theatrical styles. Don't forget to check out the practice questions in PDF for this lesson to prepare for our next class, Intro to Musical Theater. Now, I'm going to find Justin and play some more charades. Because remember, in theater, like in life, the limit is your imagination. Yo, Justin, where you at?
Hey, hey.